Hello, friends, and welcome back to Playing Tribute to Ace Attorney Investigations, where we are, I think, at the end of the second case, Turnabout Airlines. I realize that I haven't been giving the titles of the episode, case, whatever, that we're on. So now I am. Turnabout Airlines. The finale of this particular case, where we have discovered the real cause of death was falling from a high place, and that there was some smuggling going on, and that Miss Meal is kind of suspect right now because she says that she saw the victim after he had supposedly been killed. And it had to have been before the Zhang Fa layover here. And also forged documents. So let's get down to it, shall we? Miss Meal. Miss Meal. Huh? Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Zhengfa? Huh? You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible, because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we ever touched down in Zhengfa. Oh? Miss Cammy Meal. Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did. No one could make a mistake so large, Miss Meal. But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time. Yeah. This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well. Miss Meal, if you please tell me about your alibi during this time span, from just before we were to land at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when the body was found. Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah. From 3 to 4, I was in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. And from 5 to 6, I was in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Emile, wake up! She fell asleep again. It looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Also, wasn't Tenero in the flight attendant room? Wait, that's actually part of the testimony?
Hold it!
Miss Emile, wake up! I'm awake. Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you do something about this flight attendant this instant. Why don't you whip her? Why ask me to wake her when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use? If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class in the lounge between the hours of 3 and 4. Yeah, but that kind of stuff's run by Miss Rhoda. Then what were you doing in the attendance room at that time? Eating and then having a most delicious dream? You mean you were neglecting your duties? No way, sleeping's part of our job too, you know.
Hold it!
Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up! I'm awake. Yow! What did you whip me for, sir? Oh, what did I miss? The poor detective being on the receiving end of a lash in your stead. Really? Sorry about that. You can make amends for that by continuing with your testimony. So you were alone the entire time, were you? Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi. Oh, well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. Yes, raise an objection. I've been saying this the whole time. Miss Meal, there's a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony. What are you talking about? It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m. What did we learn? Oh, here we go.
Take that!
I wonder if you would be so kind as to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal. A receipt? For what? It's for the suitcase that Miss Denaro bought. I'm sorry, I should have been looking through evidence with you guys and, showing stuff going on. Sorry about that. I'll try to do better in the future. I always mess up with that, don't I? Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp. As you can see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m. Miss Denaro. Oh, Miss Denaro! Yes? Why is the killer here? I thought you have her locked up by now. I requested that she be present as a witness, so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Miss Denaro, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor and flight shop, correct? Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase, after which I went straight to the attendant's room to drop it off. And did you see Miss Meal there at the time? No. So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.? Mrs. Cammy Meal. Huh? The bathroom? I'll be the one to ask the questions here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know. Do you take me for a fool? It's a little too convenient to be true. But it's the truth, cross my heart. I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage. You don't believe me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out? Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew. But you think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda, too? She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard in the shop, you know. And you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. Please leave Miss Denaro out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now. I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on Miss Rhoda. Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I? Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kind of like... I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design. That's fair. Now's not the time for this sort of talk.
Hold it!
No, it's not the only reason I have for suspecting you. Your statements regarding Mr. Hicks also turned out to be a bunch of lies. But say I wasn't an attendant. You wouldn't suspect me then, would you? Yes, I suppose that's true enough.
Hold it!
She's already being detained for further questioning, or have you already forgotten? Oh yeah, I guess I just forgot. Cammy, don't tell me you suspect me too. Sorry, I can't help it. I mean, other than you, there's no one else who could have done it. I can't believe you would think that. I mean, me? A killer? Miss Meal, what do you mean by, just now, by no one else who could have done it?
Hold it!
And what are you in charge of, Miss Meal? I take care of the attendance room. That doesn't count. But I spend so much time in there, it might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages, so she assists passengers who may not speak English. Especially those who speak Virginian. She's the only one in this flight who's fluent. You mean that kind of what I'm in charge of? Why didn't you say so in the first place? What else could I have meant? Yeah, so I'm really good at Virginian. She's fluent in Virginian. And I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Virginian? Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Virginian. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I think you have just made yourself suspicious.
Objection!
So, you're the only one in this flight crew that speaks Virginian. Is that correct? Oh, yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Virginia for a while. If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is the falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose: to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borginian is you, Miss Beale. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Elif Red could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you. Oh, hi. Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It's exactly as you say. Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There's no direct correlation after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper. Really? All you did was sign it. I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So sorry about that. Seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that.
Objection!
If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring, and just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes. So perhaps there is some element of setup at play in this case. What are you talking about? Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First it was myself, and now it's Miss Dinero who's under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. There's no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she is indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all of the blame for the crime onto her, and this evidence will prove my suspicions. Is it the suitcase? Because they put the bloody cloth inside it too? Man, we didn't do anything with this phone yet. I think it's the suitcase. The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Dinero for the murder. Miss Dinero buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail, but should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whatever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop, and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a freakless endeavor, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway? That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. The fact that he was an Interpol agent? The killer was at a loss of what to do with Agent Hicks' body. That health bar is still on the screen. I think I was wrong. Wait. Really? You mean that the whole plan to frame someone was an elaborate coincidence? No, that's not what I said. You could only deduce my meaning as well. One of the wrong deductions is you. Think before you speak. Okay, so it's not the Interpol. Why did they have to frame someone? Is it because it happened here? Or because when it happened? Because it happened before the stop at Shenfa. It's gonna be really embarrassing if I pick every one except for the right one and then just find the right one at the end. why did it... Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can deduce this. Where the murder took place, so down here, or when the murder took place. Which was before chain of file. Oh, maybe it was where, because it's the cargo hold where only the flight attendants could be. But they wanted to frame Tenero, who could go down to the cargo hold. So the special circumstance that dictated the need for the killer to frame someone couldn't have been where, because that was where Tenero would have been too. Or not. Okay, it's the third one then. Getting to the meat of my argument. Where the murder took place. The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. Wait, that's it? No matter which country, customs is quite strict in the day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Miss Tenero or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Tenero or myself, but you, Miss Camille. Only you, and you alone, could be the killer. And... Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me, other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Yeah, the phone! Something I still can't quite fit into the big picture.
Take that!
I just mentioned that earlier. I don't have any external evidence. I thought not. But that's because it went missing. And still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on, and that is the victim's cell phone. Francisca, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks' cell phone. Or at least that's what you told me. That's right. But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at the crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with him? Precisely. I suspect that if you were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Come on, get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Francisca, I'd like you to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. Agent Hicks' phone! It's ringing from somewhere, sir. I hear it, Detective. Now, where's it coming from? It's coming from you? Miss Meal, wake up! Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I get sleepy all of a sudden because it sounds like a lullaby I used to love as a child. Are we gonna do like some hot and cold stuff here, or... Myself in the flight attendant's room. Oh, really? I have to go all the way up there? Okay. Well, that's obnoxious. The ringing's coming from somewhere in here, sir. Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. We must find it. Doesn't seem to be over here. I was thinking of this suitcase. What if it might be inside the suitcase? I'm hearing sounds coming from inside, sir. I don't suppose this culprit would have been so dumb as to try the same trick twice. Maybe in the locker? The ringing's coming from in here, sir. What? Can't be. This has got to be the victim's cell phone. Just whose locker is this, sir? It's Miss Tenero's. What? But remember, the keycard was stolen. So... they could have gotten to her locker. So, Mr. Edgeworth, how did it go? Where'd you find the phone? I found it in the flight attendant's room. in Miss Tenero's locker. What? But... Rhoda Tenero. I don't know anything about the phone. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Miss Von Karma, is it just to arrest Mr. Rhoda Tenero Miss Rhoda Tenero right now? Wait, I have a theory. This is related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, they conveniently stashed the cell phone in Miss Tenero's locker at the same time. This is related to the keycard, all right, in the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one bird we cannot ignore. What should I do? Francisca's right. We can't hope for baseless conjectures at this point. Alright then. Why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? It must have something very incriminating on it. Or in it.
Hold it!
What now, Miles Edgeworth? It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail. Alright. It does seem broken from the fall. The LCD is broken. Without a screen, you can't even place a call with this. But it does have a camera. A camera lens. Come to think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of a smuggling? Francisca! I need you to confirm something. The cell phone. Can it take pictures? Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir. This looks like a very similar model to my own, and mine can take photos just fine. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for his smuggling case? If so, I'd say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for a killer smuggler. But the phone's all busted up, sir. Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone. I'll find a way, don't you worry about that. May I go back to sleep now?
Objection!
The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data. What? What do you mean by that, Francisca? It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang whenever I called it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still there inside, waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone. Francisca, your phone, if you please. Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now. This is... Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence for his smuggling case. Hey, the alley Fred's nowhere in this pic, sir. This has no meaning as a piece of evidence in this murder case, right? She's right. There's not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks' killer, sir. Is this it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo that we can use? The fact that all of the suitcases are here in this photo is odd. Agent Hicks was still alive at the time. So what exactly is so odd about suitcases that haven't been used yet being there? Yes, well, I was only pointing out things that are different between now and then. Your off-topic ramblings have put an attendant to sleep yet again, Miles Edgeworth. Boxes of bed sheets. These are still in the cargo hold. There's nothing unusual about them in particular, but I can't shake the feeling. You're just playing around, mind if I go home? Yes, I mind. I need to focus on what's different now from back then. What's all this? Oh, they are Gogo's ship from Virginia into Zenva. So this So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Jingfa. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there is no English written on them anywhere. One cluster of boxes is written in Borginian. It says, is cloth in English. Cloth. Could it be? Is this where the killer... What? What is for that scary face? Miss Meal. Yes. It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence, after all. A striking piece, that will point out who his killer is. Ha. Maybe you shouldn't enforce your mistaken reading of the simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth. Virginian cargo and this piece of evidence will point us straight to the killer. The cloth? Really? Okay. I'll follow you. What is that supposed to prove? The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe the blood they had spilt. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I have finally found my answer in this very photo. The cargo that was unloaded in Zengfa had cloth written on it. In Borginian, that is. Oh. Oh. I get it. No one else would have been able to read it. Meal can read it because she can speak and read Borginian. And this is where the killer grabbed the piece from to clean out the blood with. That's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Borginian. And the only crew member that fits the description is you, Miss Camille. Huh, that's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Virginian. Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of this killer's indiscriminate nature. What? There was no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all, and if the killer supposedly could not comprehend Virginian, well then... Logically, the killer would have opened this box first. The box that says bedsheets, because that's also a cloth. Hey, it says bedsheets in English right there on the box, sir. Precisely, and bedsheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say? So what are you trying to say? That if I were the criminal, this box of bedsheets would have been what I would have spotted first. However, the killer chose to use some Virginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that? The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold, so they were afraid to leave signs at the box for the sheets. That the box for the sheets had been opened. However, the Virginian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different color. Because the killer knew that he was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Jingfa. That's right. That's why the Virginian cloth was used. And the only Virginian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Camille. You and you alone. It would be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we would have to do is contact the Jingfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within those boxes. So what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess to your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out from our investigation in Jingfa? He was in a bowl. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. Hi. Finished making all the arrangements to take the suspect in, sir. Very good, Detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that? They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It was scary, sir. She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind this whole mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. Mr. Edgeworth! I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much. It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation. But truly, it wasn't for you. I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation. That's... I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it. No, I mean, I would never turn down the lady's generous offer. Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. And remember, we here at iFly Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue, no matter where you go. I can't believe that we wound out investigating the whole day. But boy, was it fun. Speak for yourself. My day was filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges. By the way, where's Francisca? Oh, she's filling out some customs paperwork for her departure. Departure? Yeah, Miss Von Karma's always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country, chased down some leads regarding her case. Detective, can you cancel the car I had you reserve earlier? You got it, sir. Francisca? I thought I told you when you first landed, I have no time for idle chatter. I have no intention of wasting your time. However, it has been a while since we last met. I also have no time for such familiar reminiscences. Just who do you think I am? You are Francisca Von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect. Until only a little while ago, I was but a wretched mutt who was always losing to you. A dancing Pierrot, living her life on the name of fame and her invincible father built. True, your father, Manfred von Karma, didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible. What are you talking about? The group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture. Sounds like a dangerous assignment. You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself. Yes, I suppose you can. Plus, there's another agent in this case with me. Oh, another agent? He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows, you may even run into him one day. I've simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why it would cross paths. I suppose, but I doubt he would say the same. I'm not following you. You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back. In full. And just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Thank goodness. I can finally rest easy knowing I won't have to watch out for her whip. Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation. Ah, it was nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm going to celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight. Just how much did you cut his salary by, Francisca? Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office. Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in the patrol car if you want. Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Francisca von Karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war. They would begin to make themselves known through the next incident. Edgeworth speaking. Finally. I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through. And you are? Ha! Have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy? Mr. Amano. Ernest Amano, correct? Ha! So you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anyone else. There's been an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped. So I think the third case, what we're going to do right now, is the... is after... Wait. The third case is after the first case. where the second case was before the first case. It goes second case, first case, third case. Sure. Okay. Again, the timeline of this is weird. So I realized that I usually say something about the case after I finish it, and like whether I liked it or not. I honestly don't know how many times I've played this game. I feel like I've only played it once at this point. Though I do remember this. I remember Turnabout Airlines because I remember that big like falling scene where it's like, oh, that's what happened. He fell. But honestly, that's really the only thing that I remembered. I mean, I remember, like, when Cammy came up, I was like, oh, I remember her. But yeah, I don't know whether I've actually played any of these cases more than once. So I am kind of going through almost as if it was, like, the first time through, but it's the second time. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I've played these. So I mean, it's fast-paced. The Turnabout Airlines was certainly fast-paced. There wasn't really any issue with that. I guess the first one was a little less so, it seemed, but I think it was because that was like the tutorial kind of case. So it was a little more. It was a little more slow. It was a little slower. This one. I don't know, there were points, obviously, that I had the right idea, but I was going about it the wrong way. Like, the one was, like, it knew that you knew because it was showing him falling. It was just a matter of where to link the logic. And I should have gone with my gut. That was, of course, I'm saying it, but I don't think I said it out loud at the time, so you probably don't believe me. But that was what I was thinking. I was like, oh, is it the statue and the bruises? Because the statue couldn't have made that bruise or whatever. But anyway, it's all well and good. And we're going to be going on to the next case next time. So stay tuned. Stick around. Subscribe or whatever. Because I guess I should be telling people to do that. And I hope that you're enjoying this this spin-off of the Ace Attorney franchise. And I am looking forward to continuing and showing you even more, especially the characters that have not shown up yet. So I guess we'll see when they come. There might be, well, based on the outline here, there's one particular character that we're gonna find. We're gonna see here. But yeah, stay tuned. Stick around, and I'll talk to you guys next time.